Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Art Whisper 88. Now these are some old business cards that I was holding on to, and I changed my phone number, so I had to cross out the old number, which doesn't work anymore. So I have an excess of all these cards, and I thought to myself, instead of cutting up cardboard or cardstock for stencils, I'll just use these old business cards. So I had an idea to take all these cards and cut random notches in them to make them different shapes. This is kind of inspired by that video I did with MC Escher, because he likes to play with shapes that interlock. I think they're called tessellations. Well, tessellation is just a fancy word for shapes that fit together like a puzzle. So I'm just cutting notches in them. Some are two, some just one. Some, like this one, will look like a letter F, and some will look like an L. Some will look like an E. Okay, I think I have enough to work with. So I'm going to play with these shapes and make a structure on the gel plate. And if you notice, I really scrub this very well with baby oil. I love pan pastels, but they're really a pain to get off the gel plate. And you have to do it like once, twice, or 3 times. So I will start by laying down these shapes like a checkerboard. I'm just having fun with them, but there is no particular pattern. Now, the fact that they are pre-cut business cards saves me a lot of trouble of cutting them into the same size. So I can make a very complex maze. Now this is going to be a challenge to get the pieces off once I finish inking, but I think it'll be worth it. Because I do love these kind of patterns. They're not symmetrical, but they are overall patterns. There, that looks like a lot of fun. So the next step now is to start inking the plate with some bright colors. So I'm going to use cadmium red. It's one of my favorite colors. It's a nice bright red. Let me just transfer it into this cup. Now I have to do this because sometimes the paint gets these dry globs because it sits in the tube or sits in the bottle for a long time. And these dry globs become problems. And I put a few drops of water in my cup so it's a little more spreadable. I just spread this. Now I'm going to flatten it out with my small brayer. Okay, now I want to put a different color. I'm going to do a light pink. Now this one seems to be a little more liquid because this is a new tube. So I'm going to use that directly from the tube. Okay, I think I have all the surfaces covered. Now again, I noticed that using cardboard stencils, the edges are really very sharp, very well defined. It's because the cardboard absorbs the excess paint. So instead of blotting, it creates a very well defined shape. I'm not going to push my luck, and I'll try to work as quickly as I can because I don't want the paint to dry on me. Okay. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to let this dry so that I can apply another layer and have this intact. So I will air dry this with my fan. So that's just the way I work. I tend to change my mind like at the turn of a dime, but that's just me. So bear with me, and I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I think this is a little dry now. I'm going to have a little fun with some mark making. It's just to break up the monotony of the shapes. So you have this kind of like a spider web. There. And then I'm going to mix up some silver. Now what I have here is my little plastic container. I have here some iridescent white. Now I have a large tub of this because I really love iridescent white, and I use it quite a lot. So I'm going to take my brush That is iridescent white. And mix up some silver. This is black. I'll just do a squirt of black. So iridescent white with a few squirts of black creates a metallic silver. You see that? Sometimes it's better just to mix your own. Okay, so I'll just to loosen this up, I'll put a few drops of water. Because I can tell that it's a very, very thick consistency. Sometimes if it's too thick, it dries too fast. And I want it to be just the right consistency so I can do a nice transfer. Okay. I'm just going to dab silver paint, and hopefully this will work. So you could call this my business card edition. It's an image made of business cards as stencils. All right. I'm going to use my wider brayer this time. Now hopefully the silver layer will activate the orange layer underneath. So this is my Richardson paper, which I have cut in half. So it's a 15 by 22. So while I'm waiting for this to pick up the first layer, here are some more submissions to my open call. So enjoy. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's see how we made out. I think it's a good transfer. And I think oiling the plate, scrubbing and oiling the plate previously really pays off. Because the paper comes off a little more easily. Okay, how cool is that? Now let me move this so you can see that it's iridescent, it's metallic silver. Has a very industrial look to it. So I will air dry this and then recap. Okay, here's to recap. This has dried pretty well. Let me show you a close-up. So the Sharpie pen really shows up very well. There's hardly a skip. Sometimes when you do a transfer, the Sharpie pen tends to skip a little bit because the plate is oily. Here is the interaction between the metallic silver and the orange. And as you can see, the registration is pretty spot on. Now the edges are a little bit raggedy, but that's okay, as long as the layers line up. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That was quite a bit of fun to do. And that's a creative way to make use of existing materials like business cards. So thank you for watching and subscribing. And thank you all you wonderful, talented viewers who have submitted their artwork for everyone to see and to share. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time.